Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where I am kind of starting to do some new things with it. I have a background on because because it's books, and today we're talking about books. I'm going to be rating every single book that I have ever, well, almost every single book that I've ever read, which is honestly not that much compared to a lot of people in the book community. Okay, let's share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see it? Let's see. I've never actually used this. Good. Alright, I need to change this, okay. So we're gonna do 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, and we're gonna add one more, and it's gonna be called DNF, because I think anything below 2 is pretty much a DNF for me. Sorry, this is not in order of the books that I read, but I'm just gonna kind of do it based off like what I remember. So first, I started getting into book talk because I was on TikTok, and of course ACOTAR was like a thing, and so obviously ACOTAR is a 5 out of 5 for me. The whole series. I didn't put the whole series in here because I don't think I need to, but I love A Court of Thorns and Roses. I loved that it was very Beauty and the Beast vibes because I love Beauty and the Beast, and I love Belle. She's like my favorite princess ever. So, you know that I was into it. And also, like, great storyline, just great storyline. I think this is one of Sarah J. Maas's best works, for sure. Also, sorry about the ads. I didn't want to, like, I think you have to pay to get rid of them. I don't know. This is my first time using this. Whatever. Alright, next we're gonna do what I remember reading a little bit after that, which would be Throne of Glass. The whole Throne of Glass series, 5 out of 5 for me. Also, I'm not going to put the whole series up here because I did read all the books, but I'm just going to put like the first book in the series to indicate that I read the series. But I think you guys can tell that you get it. Okay. Next we have Hail Mary. Hail Mary was a 5 out of 5 for me, by Andy Weir, and it's actually about to come out as a movie. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, but I actually read this book because I joined like a New York City book club for a minute, and this was their book of the month that I joined, and so I just read it, and it was a great read. I definitely recommend it. It is science fiction, so you have to be, like, I'm not into sci-fi, but I enjoyed it. So, like, there are certain terms and certain things that they say that I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But overall, it was pretty easy to understand, and it was really cool, and I'm really excited to see it in theaters. Next we have Remarkably Bright Creatures, which is also about to come out. I actually would rate this a 4. At the time I rated it a 5 because it is a really, actually, no, I'm sorry. It's gotta be a 5 for me. It's gotta be a 5 because it is such a beautiful story, and it's so heartbreakingly beautiful. And I'm also really excited to watch this on Netflix. It's actually gonna be a show, I think, or a movie. I don't know. Either way, it's coming on Netflix pretty soon, and I'm really excited to see it, and I definitely recommend everyone to read it. I promise you, not all of these are 5s, okay? I know I'm like really generous, but yeah, I promise you, not all of these are 5s. Okay. So next, should I do one that I like don't like as much? Okay, The Return was a DNF. I did not finish. I did go and look up the whole entire like storyline though on, what do you call it? Like, you know those websites that like tell you pretty much everything that happened in the book. But I didn't actually finish it because I couldn't get into it, and also, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like a great story and I do want to finish it eventually, but right now I just feel like it was a DNF for me. Yeah. And I do love Rachel Harrison, okay? Because Rachel Harrison is the author. yeah, So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. The ending was horrible. I loved the book, hated the ending. And then there's like a, what do you call it? Oh my god, I forget. What is this story? An epilogue. There was an epilogue, but I didn't get it, to be honest. And it's kind of like I looked it up on Reddit and everyone was kind of suggesting their own theories, but there's no exact explanation. I think it could have been a lot better than it was, but it wasn't the worst. We also have Black Sheep. I actually listened to the audiobook, and again, I would say it's like 2 out of 5 because I didn't love it. It's about a girl that gets, like, basically she was in a cult and she leaves the cult, but it's kind of like paranormal, some things that happen, which I did like that aspect, but some of it just felt long and kind of dragged on, and I think it could have been better. I did like the story, but again, I think it could have been a better storyline, and I think the potential was there, but I'm going easy on her because again, it was one of her like first books. But then we have Play Nice. That is a 5 out of 5 for me. Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. Chef's kiss. It was amazing. I have the mic right here, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me pretty well. It's my first time using it, but I might lean like this to talk. Now, I've also never done this before, so let me know if you want me to do anything differently next time. Like, if you want me to explain each book, if you want me to, like, go into more details, let me know. Because I don't want to bore you. And I hope I'm not. But, yeah. Okay. Next, we'll go into The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. 5 out of 5. You can see that I am a very generous reader. I've become more picky as I've read more books. I started, again, like, really getting into reading, like, about 3 years ago, but I started a book club, like, in 2024. I'm actually wearing the merch. So that's when I really started to get into it. And even then I was only reading like 1 or 2 books a month. But this year I have a goal to read 100 books a month, so I'm trying to read, well, 100 books a year. So I'm trying to read 8 books a month so that I can, like, you know, read 100 books this year. And it's been a little challenging because I have other things going on. I work and I'm in school, like college. But yeah, it's about a girl. I don't remember her name right now because it's been so long since I've read this book. And I actually want to get the next one that's coming out. He's having like a sequel and I want to read it and pre-order it. It's up for pre-order right now. A sequel. Okay, that's the correct terminology. I don't know if it's going to be a duology yet, but I just know that he's coming out with a sequel and it's up for pre-order, and I highly recommend reading this book and then pre-ordering the sequel if you haven't yet. Same with ACOTAR, obviously. There's 2 new books that are coming out at the end of the year and beginning of next year, so pre-order them too, or read the series now so you can, like, catch up in time. So yeah, that was also, like, another one of the first books that I really read. Next is Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. This, for me, I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person, so this for me is like the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Bible for me. Okay, this is a spiritual book about reincarnation and what happens when we die and the afterlife, and this book really healed me from some things that I was dealing with at the time when I read it, and I'm really glad I read it. And it's a whole series as well. This is the first one. This man, Michael Newton, he has a PhD. He studied past life regression therapy and stumbled upon the afterlife while helping a client one day in a session, and he kind of explored it more and recorded his findings, so with like his case studies. So it's really interesting and I really recommend it, especially if you recently lost someone to like death or something, or an animal or a person, you know. Great book. The Wedding People At the time I rated it 5 stars, but I'm actually gonna rate it 4 stars because it's a little sad. The one of the main, well, the main character, she's kind of going through a divorce and like essentially is at like a hotel, a really nice hotel that she always wanted to go to with her ex-husband to herself. And she meets a woman there who's having her wedding that same weekend, and no one else was supposed to book at that hotel that weekend or that week or whatever. But she did, and so the girl that is getting married got really upset, and they have this whole like rivalry kind of pretty much going on, but then they become friends, and then it ends really good, and it's really inspiring in that way. But yeah, I mean, the only part for me was that like it's a little depressing, but like it only starts depressing and then it gets better. So okay, The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, 3 stars. It was a great suspenseful read for me, but the ending and what actually happened was horrible. And also the family, the main family, the really rich family, is horrible people. And it's crazy, but it's a 3 star for me because I hated the ending, and I think she could have gone 100 different routes with that. And I do not like how the woman that you thought was not going to be the person who did it was the person who did it. Sorry, I guess I just kind of gave a spoiler, but definitely recommend reading it, but you're gonna be disappointed at the ending. It's just not a good ending. Next we'll go into my like self-help books that I've read. Oh wait, let's do the last few Rachel Harrison. So Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison, 5 stars for me. 5 stars. There is some essay in that book, but I loved it. Loved it. And then Cackle by Rachel Harrison, 5 stars. Loved it. I'm not gonna say anything else about it because you guys should just read her books. They're quick reads too. They're not that long. And they're really good. Alright. Let's go into my spiritual books. I only have or self-help books. I only have 2 on here, it looks like. But I've read a lot more actually, but I don't remember because it's been so many years. But Atomic Habits, sorry, 2 stars. Let me tell you why. A lot of it is just like common sense for me personally, and although it is like an inspiring book, yeah, it's also just kind of like a waste of my time in my opinion. It didn't really teach me much of anything, but I know that's not the case for everyone. So do I think the book is overrated? Yeah. Yeah, but that's just because for where I'm at in my journey of life, you know, but other people who might not already know these things, it's probably a really good, useful book. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins is one that I very recently read, 5 stars, because this book changed my perspective on so many things, especially as someone who has anxiety and is like very type A. This book really helped me because it helped me learn how to let go a bit, or a lot. I'm still learning. I still have to remind myself, like, let them, you know, but it's helped a lot with like my need to like control and help everyone and do everything for everyone else. Like, no, like just let it go. Now we'll go into, well, the last one for Sarah J Maas, the last series, is Crescent City. I put the last book on here actually because I don't know why. This was technically a DNF for me. I couldn't get through it because I watched a YouTube video on like the whole book pretty much explained, because I couldn't read it. It was just like so boring. The series started out so good. Book 1 was so good. Book 2 was good, but not as good as book 1, and book 3 was just a flop. And if she comes out with any more of these, I don't think I'm gonna read them because this was so boring. It was so boring and it was dragged on forever. Excuse me. So yeah, I accidentally put some like books in here twice, but it's fine. Next we'll do Jeanette McCurdy, I'm Glad My Mom Died. I'd say 4 stars because there should have been a trigger warning, maybe there was, about eating disorders. And after I read this book, I was triggered for a bit because of what she went through. I went through that too. And also, like, it's not a great book to read. I mean, it's pretty horrible what happened to her. But, like, it was kind of cool too, like, to see, like, from someone that I watched growing up on iCarly, like, to see her perspective of, like, what her life was like. And we had no idea because we only saw, like, her on TV and that character. But yeah, I don't know. I just, 4 stars. That's me being generous. I really just want to, actually, 3. Yeah, sorry. Anyways. Alright, next one is The First Witch of Boston. This one is 5 stars for me. It's actually based on The First Witch of Boston. The First Witch of Boston that was hanged was Margaret Jones, and so the main character is Margaret Jones, but it's not a biography or anything. It's like a fictional story, but it's very eye-opening and it's crazy and sad, and with everything going on in the world right now, I felt like this book was a really good read. To show how history repeats itself in different forms, and how back then it was targeting women and men, I guess. But a lot of women, especially women that speaked out against men, and knowing that if I lived in that time, I would have been one of them. An outspoken, loud woman just gets hanged because she's a witch, basically. But she's not a witch, she's a healer. So whatever. Definitely recommend it. Next is House of Hunger. This is one of the first books I ever read as well. And at the time I would rate it 5 stars, but now I think it's like 4. Because I bought the physical copy and I can't bring myself to read it, because even though it was good at the time, I feel like now I've read so many more books that I'm just like, it's actually not as good as I thought at the time. So 4 stars, but it is still really good. Definitely recommend it. Next is Wayward Girls by Susan Wiggs. Also 4 stars. Great book in terms of, like, again, history. She bases it off these girls that actually attended, like, this nun school, but, like, they would be sent off to this boarding school because they were considered wayward girls, or, like, girls who were bad. And it was run by nuns that were, like, taking advantage of money and, like, basically using the girls as, like using them to do slave work, kind of, and, like, it was abusive and all sorts of things. But it's a fiction book, and it has a really great ending, so definitely recommend it. Next, The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. Also 5 stars, because it wasn't, like, the best book I've ever read, but the storyline was also really relatable for me because of, like, what they go through with their parents, and, like, the whole story is just, like, you're essentially growing up with them, with the 2 main characters, which are a brother and sister, mostly from you're in the brother's perspective, but, like, the sister is there too, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna put Wayward Girls at 5 as well, just because that was just... Next is Retreat by Kristen Ritter. If you don't know who that is, she played Jessica Jones in Marvel, and she's still playing her, actually. I would say 4 stars. There were parts that were unpredictable and, like, shocking, and I was very gripped to the book the whole time, but there were parts that were so obvious, you know? And essentially, like, for me, it was really obvious who the person was the whole entire time. That was, you know, the murderer, which was disappointing. I don't like when it's obvious. I like to be blown away and completely proven wrong. So, yeah. Next is We Used to Live Here by Marcus. I honestly can't see it, and I honestly forget. Very scary book, but 4 stars for me, because you'll just have to read it. But it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like disappointing. Like the ending, again, disappointing ending. And just like, it was pretty scary, not gonna lie. I read it at night and got kind of scared a few times, and it wasn't exactly predictable, which is why I'm like, okay, it's 4 stars, but the ending was bad. It's just not good. Society of Lies, I would give it 3 stars. I rated it probably 5 stars when I read it, but looking back at it now, it's just like, kind of a mid-read. Next is The Compound by Aisling Rawl. I also am giving it 3 stars because it was a mid-read. It was just kind of like, okay, this is just a read to like add to my number of books I've read this month, you know. Next is Game Changer by Rachel Reed. 5 stars. I loved it. The writing was pretty bad, but the characters and the storyline are amazing, and I think I loved it more than I loved Heated Rivalry, which is an unpopular opinion, because next is Heated Rivalry, and that is also a DNF for me. A DNF because I watched the show before I read the book, and it's very similar. There are certain things that are apparently like a little bit different, but for the most part it's super similar. And so I watched the show and then I started reading the book, and I was like, it was cool to see their perspectives, but I didn't finish it because I was like, I just watched the show. I don't want to basically read the show that I just watched, you know? So if you're gonna watch the show, I recommend reading the books first and then watching the show for sure. But I did read Game Changer before I watched the show, and I was so excited to see Kip and Scott in it. I was like so excited, and I loved it, and they're my babies. But still, the show, 10 out of 10. Definitely need to watch the show. So the book, I mean, if I did finish it, I'd probably give it 5 stars, but I just didn't. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Amazing read. Just amazing. I actually want to reread it soon because it's been a little bit. I think I listened to the audiobook, but I really want to reread it. It was just so good. It was so good. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. 2 stars. Yeah, just not good. Just not good. And the smut was just a waste of time, and I hate books like that. Next is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I love the series. I think I'm about to be on it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Just very cute, like cozy read, and I always go through it so fast. Like, it's 300 or 400 pages, but I always get through it so quickly because it's just so good. Kristen Hannah the Nightingale, obviously 5 out of 5 stars. And obviously I will be seeing the movie, and it's tragic and sad as fuck, but this shit actually happened, you guys, and it might actually be happening again as we speak. Great read. History does repeat itself, okay? Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I can't decide. I got through it really quick. 4 stars. I got through it really quick. It was a really good read, but I could not stand the main characters at certain points, especially when they hated each other. Just unnecessary and long for what? Anyway. And then I just finished Brimstone by Callie Hart. Also 4 stars. Very long, very dragged out. Ending was a cliffhanger because she's coming out with another one. I think in November, which I was like, oh, I have to wait. I am gonna read it because I want to know what happens next, and I want an explanation. But I really hope that the writing is a lot better in the next one than it was in Brimstone, because it was really just dragged out for no reason. Kind of how Quicksilver was, but Quicksilver, again, got through it really fast. I honestly, 5 stars for Quicksilver, 4 stars for Brimstone. I think it just is because Brimstone took me so long, whereas Quicksilver, I got through it in like a couple days. This took me like a month, and I had to force myself to finish it. And then the ending was a cliffhanger, and I was like, what the... The Lost Bookshop, I would say, I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. I would say also, yeah, like 5 stars. It was a cute little read, very interesting. There were some things in there that are like mentioned, and about like history and stuff. I just thought it was cute and cool, so yeah. Everyday Heroes, and then this one's about like a lighthouse family. 5 stars. I don't usually read things like this, but I loved it. I just loved it. It was so cool to like read about this woman's life, like growing up on like at a lighthouse or like a few different lighthouses. I loved it. And you know, like hearing about that time era was just completely different, but it was so good. The Book Club Hotel, I recently read that as well during this past Christmas. 5 out of 5 stars. Cute, cozy winter read. Definitely recommend it. Inseparable. I just finished this too for another book club I'm in. Bad ending, and the book kind of was like really bad, honestly. It was translated by Margaret Atwood, but it was written by someone, and I guess like it was discovered, like I recently discovered it. So to be fair, I don't really think that this author ever finished the book because it was never published. But the ending was just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, that's it. It's just very abrupt. Okay, I put the whole entire like series on here. Okay, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch, 5 stars, by Cody Crowley. She's an up-and-coming author as well. Very great book. Very great book. You have to read this book, especially during like October and spooky season. Just please read it. That's all. Okay, Haunting Adeline. Lots of trigger warnings. Alright, very dark and twisted. I don't care. It had me hooked from the beginning. It was fucked up in the best way. Honestly, 5 stars that whole entire series. So if you don't know what Phantom is, it's basically like adding on to like Haunting Adeline, like her grandma or great grandma, her great grandma passed away in the house from a mysterious murder. And it's her story. It's from the great grandma's like perspective of like how she had the stalker and all that. Like you get a lot of answers. Satan's Affair is about hang on. It's about Sibby. If you read The Cat and Mouse, like Haunting and Hunting Adeline. She's like schizophrenic and she has henchmen, and it's kind of like her perspective of her story. And then Where's Molly is about Molly, who was also sex trafficked. She's mentioned in Haunting and Hunting Adeline as well, especially when, well, I say Adeline, it's like Adeline or something, when she gets sex trafficked. And it's Molly's perspective of like how she escaped the house that Adeline is sex trafficked into, and her story of like where she is now and like what she does basically now. And it's very twisted and dark as well, but very good. And I'm like really sad that this is it. And I'm hoping she'll come out with more books pertaining to all of these characters because it just was so good. I'm not even really into like dark stuff like that, you know, but there's just something about this series that was just so freaking good. It's just so good. I hope they make it into like a show or a movie too. Like it needs to. So yeah. And then these are all like, I already have them up here. I don't know why I put them in twice by accident. But yeah, these are pretty much all the books I've ever read. Not completely all of them. I left some of them out because like I didn't really want to talk about them, honestly. But like these are the ones that I was willing to talk about. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I would love to hear your thoughts on these books and like what you're reading right now and what you suggest I do in the future, if like you want me to do something different for how I talk about these books, or any like other ideas for what you want me to like critique or like rate book-wise, or any reads you want to suggest to me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!